Dude, you look way different on camera than you do in real life. This is not what Tristan actually looks like in real life.
Is it good or bad?
I mean, it's different.
Okay.
It's not either or, but it's just a little different. We are back with another rolling commentary. This time brought to you by Tristan Pack. Tristan's gonna talk to us a little bit about his training session. It was just last night with Grant, Isaac, and myself. Hope you enjoy.
Sponsored by Iron with the drip. Go check them out. And not sponsored by me.
Alrighty guys, this is Tristan here. We got a couple rolls here with Grant, and one of the best parts about this roll in particular is me and Grant are both very, very tired. And you can tell a lot by an athlete based off of their fatigue. You can tell their character, as well as the tactics and techniques they choose to use whenever they are tired. So Grant's a great wrestler. So my main goal going into this roll is to try to get under him, either into his legs or underneath his center of mass, so I could sweep him, wrestle up, or take his back. Now the problem with Grant is he's got an excellent darce, and we're also very sweaty, so it's very difficult for me to make any sort of viable connection to him. I had a good crab ride entry just there, so I'm going to try it again by going backside 50-50 here. He's doing a really good job of controlling my legs and not letting me enter him. So when I'm here, I'm really looking at staying on my back, pulling into a guard that's favorable to me. That way I can wrestle up. You see here I attempt a pretty bad wrestle up that leads into one of his best attacks, which is kind of like a short whizzer into a darce. Pull out of that so I can go into kind of a false sweep here. Again, really trying to enter his legs. The only reason I didn't is because the wall's there, let's be honest. But I really tried this back take here. But again, Grant's got a really funky wrestling style that translates really well to jiu-jitsu. And here you see I'm in a front headlock, and one of my main things that I try to do when I'm training is not to think about being in a quote-unquote bad position. It's just a position that I may not be comfortable in. So I try to remain calm during those. Now I'm pretty tired here. I'm not really doing too much on bottom to try to sweep anymore, but I'm choosing my battles. I'm choosing when I want to explode, when I want to stay resting. And here you see I use a little kiss of the dragon to invert into a crab ride. I feel that I'm losing the hip, so I try to go back to the leg. I lose the leg, so now I come up on top. Now again, Grant's a great wrestler, so I'm gonna have to watch out for his wrestle ups as I'm passing. One of the main tactical errors I made in this was I was using a lot of outside passing, which gave him room to wrestle up just like there. Now here I'm trying to lock up a triangle. It's really not there, but I'm just using it to try to buy time to maybe enter his legs or enter into a turtle back take situation. Now really awkward position here, but I'm really just trying to find something that's going to work on him. Nothing's really working. I'm trying to maintain connection with him with my hands or my feet, trying not to let him get to his best submission, which is a darce, trying not to let him pass my guard. But again, it's so hard because you see here I'm getting around, I'm cutting angles, but he's just so good at reversing the position using his wrestling style and also pulling out of leg entanglement just like he did there. Now here where I'm really starting to pick the pace up because I'm honestly getting frustrated that I can't sweep him, I can't submit him. So I'm starting to pick up the same strategy, but just have a little bit more emphasis on just really trying to fight the position, try to sweep him. Again, here I use outside passing. I noticed he wrestled up beforehand using that same kind of low single, and I anticipated that to try to take his back. If I were to go back and do it again, I wouldn't have gone for a seatbelt right away. I would have gone for double underhook, so he couldn't turn into me like he is here. I'm losing the position, and eventually I end up just getting put back on bottom. Grant's a really hard guy to game plan for because anytime you try to sweep, his wrestling becomes a factor, and anytime you enter his legs, he's really hard to hold on to. So it's a really hard game. I'm afraid to wrestle up, honestly, on him just because of fear of the darce, and I feel comfortable in my leg entanglements, but he's just doing such a good job at keeping the perfect distance. Here I try to enter a waiter to get under him so I can wrestle up, but he's doing a good job controlling my far leg, making it impossible for me to progress the position. Not going for any real leg locks on Grant just because he's still a white belt, believe it or not. You can't really tell it from this footage. I don't really feel good about leg locking him, especially since I'm still a purple belt and I can't do them, but I threaten the leg lock just enough to end up in top position. And here, I'm so tired, I'm just kind of being heavy on him. Really not looking to pass, but I'm looking to try to regain my energy and wear his down. So here I get a body lock. Unfortunately, he has double unders, and I didn't really crunch his elbows into his side enough, so he has good position here to get a body lock on me. Now I'm trying to re-pummel in here, again staying heavy on top, trying not to let him wrestle up, but he wrestles up again. Same mistake, I dive for the seatbelt and it doesn't work. So now we're standing. I don't like standing up with Grant because he's got great wrestling. So I'm going to try to grab his leg to fake a shot to go into a leg entanglement to try to get under him. I wasn't successful before, but here I pull into a good single leg X, but he does a good job of dropping his weight pretty much right away to avoid me being able to elevate him and avoid him getting swept. So it kind of stalled out here. We're really putting the pressure on each other. I try to go into like a double scoop grip here into a wrestle up, but again, failed that one, and we end off the round both just absolutely exhausted. Good to have rounds like this because you see the mistakes you make when you're tired, and those are the mistakes that count. If I'm fresh and I'm going with a white belt, the mistakes I make mainly are just negligence, but when those are honest mistakes right there, whenever you're tired and just have no energy, what kind of person are you going to be? Are you going to try to relax, or are you going to try to keep pushing the pace and keep employing the correct tactics? Here, I'm rolling with Logan. I know that I'm not going to be able to do much to him, but my main goals when I roll with Logan are to not make it easy to get submitted, and as well as fight as hard as I can to try to make him tired. I'm not going to be able to really gain any position on him, but if I can create enough scrambles and enough movement, it will hopefully fatigue him and lead to a more successful roll, but it really doesn't end up that way at all. As you can see here, he entered a really clean back take there, and I'm really trying to control his far leg to try to pull into leg entanglement, but he's got cross body control, so it's making it very hard. As he pulls me over, he starts going for a rear naked choke, but as Logan talked about in a previous video, you don't just want to give a submission to someone just because they're good, right? You want to try to make it difficult for them. And one thing I really try to do here is to try to stay as calm as possible in these positions and make Logan work harder than me to hold me there. If I can stay calm in a bad position and he's the one that gets tired, ultimately it's going to be a win for me for the round because it makes the rest of the round easier. He's trying this Rutolo head and arm choke, but I think he's going to need a little bit more length in his arms to be able to do that. Very hard submission to hit. But here I'm just hand fighting and end up just stopping because of points. Next person in this group of three is going to be Isaac. He's also got a great front headlock, so my same goal here is to lay on my back and try to get underneath him, try to either take his back or enter his legs. And I do that by trying to go wader here. It's really slippery, so I have to try really hard to attach to the legs. And one thing is when I'm tired, I kind of don't try hard enough to attach to the legs as I should. Here he's entering a good knee slice, and I'm going to try to pummel in my top butterfly hook to try to force him into a half guard. Here he's got good head control, but I'm able to invert and create space, but again, I'm not able to attach to him in any sort of way. I do a pretty good job of maintaining my feet in front of my partner. Here I go into a cross ashi entrance that should have worked. I should have used my top hand to off balance him backwards and take my bottom hand to peel his leg towards me, but I didn't. I just kind of accepted the position because I was tired, which is yet another mistake that I made. So I'm still fighting to try to sleep him. I'm fearful of the wrestle up just because of the front headlock, so I'm going to keep trying my De La Hiva and my wader entrances. They're really hard to hit on Isaac just because he sees it so often. He knows my game pretty well because we train all the time together, and I'm really just trying to enter, and this is probably the best leg entrance that I had the entire match, but we ended it there just so Logan could hop in here. And one more time here with Logan. He's been working a lot of sit-up guard, so I've been trying my best to learn how to escape that position, and as you can see, that learning did nothing because I got swept immediately. Again here, just trying to move as much as possible to make him work, but at a price, I'm also working very hard to keep his weight off of me. Eventually, he ends up getting into a dominant position off of my scramble. There's a lot of openings I have when I scramble, as with any sort of scramble you have, and the goal in scrambling is to minimize the openings that they have on you and to navigate the position to where you can have a favorable position gained. Now here he ends up just doing a basic football pass from headquarters, smashing me and getting into mount, where here again I'm focusing on trying to make him work more than me, focusing on trying to keep my frames, stay calm, and wait for him to create an opening, because he's so much better than me that it's going to be hard for me to just point blank escape. But if he starts to move, that movement creates an opening for me to escape. So I'm being very kind of diligent here. I try to go for this Oliver Taza escape where you keep the top hand frame and try to peel the lock underneath your hips. Didn't work, so I kind of go back to my bases and just try to stay diligent with my positioning. Now here you see he starts to isolate an arm. Not good for me, but also sometimes I like to bait head and arm control so I can use a kipping escape. I felt him go for the mounted triangle. I kind of baited him to do that. That way I could feed my arm through so I could escape, but it ends off right into a front headlock anaconda situation. Now, most of the time I can defend anacondas and darces, but Logan has some secret black belt tips that he uses that he doesn't share with anyone to finish. Here, I'm attempting to buggy my own leg to drop my shoulder from my neck to prevent the choke, but that didn't work on him, unfortunately. So those were a couple rounds that we had filmed. Again, this is me very tired, and I feel like that's the most beneficial version of a grappler to see. Anyone's, you know, great when they're fresh and going against someone who's not as good, but when you're tired, that's when honest mistakes are made, and those are the mistakes that we can correct. Either they're tactical or technical mistakes, or they're mistakes in mindset where you relax in a position maybe you shouldn't relax in, or you are fighting, you're not fighting hard enough to gain a position that you should be gaining. So if you guys like that video, I'm more than available to do more breakdowns. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and yeah, see you all in the next one.